There's a great saying. There's nothing that you can't walk off, right? You could walk off weight, you could walk off frustration, you could walk off anxiety. Like, you just go for a walk until it's gone. It's that simple.
Yeah. And you think about, like, really, if we were to just reduce this down to the most ridiculous thought of how basic it is. In sales, they teach you reduce it to the ridiculous. So let's do that for that person right now who's sitting there on the couch, stuck on Netflix with no judgment. Like, I'm not judging that person. What I'm trying to do is get them to understand that it's this simple. Stand up, turn towards the door, open it, walk out.
Welcome to the Spartan Up podcast with Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Race.
We are talking about overcoming obstacles. The same way we teach people to get over obstacles on the course, we will teach you here on the Spartan Up podcast to get over obstacles in your mind.
Need some motivation as we walk into 2021? This is the episode for you. Fitness icon Clark Bartram and Joe Sena share their favorite tactics for getting going and keeping going, even when you don't feel like it. This episode of Spartan Up is brought to you by Gone Rogue high-protein chips. Visit Amazon or GoneRogueSnacks.com and use the promo code Spartan25 to get 25% off.
Joe Sena here, founder and CEO of Spartan, and we are on the Spartan Up podcast, and I got Clark Bartram. This guy's been on the cover of 100 magazines. Do I have that right? 100 fitness magazines?
Something like that. You know, I stopped counting at around 100.
100 fitness magazines. You were a Marine?
Yes.
Super disciplined and just an overall animal.
You know, I like to think so, and I appreciate that introduction. It's great, and it's a great segue into what we're going to be discussing here. I mean, I think the word Spartan just really sums it up, and I'm excited to get into what it is we're going to talk about today, because all of what you said, yes, has been a result of discipline in my life. And I think if we apply discipline to any area of our life consistently and long enough, we're going to get the results that we're looking for.
Well, you've been around the game a long time, so I got a question for you, which is, we got this great name, Spartan, right? We do this really cool stuff. We got people climbing over obstacles in 45 countries, all that. It's really hard to get people off the couch and away from Netflix. Like we are the Disneyland for hard shit. But I think about it every day. Like, it's so hard. It'd be so much easier if I was selling cotton candy.
You know, that's the irony of what we do, because so many people say they want what we have, but when it comes time to take the action on getting up and moving, it is hard to rip away from Netflix, because we have these conditioned behaviors that are ingrained into us. So coming home from work, sitting on the couch, turning on the television, and having all of this mindless meditation that causes us to just get stuck is, I think, becoming more and more these days, because everybody is streaming their platform now, right? If you think about that, what used to be network TV is now streaming. So we can get anything we want, anytime we want, for hardly anything at all. So to me, you know, if we're talking kind of a conspiracy theory type of thing, I think it's a ploy to get us to be sedentary and not active, when we could just get up, walk out a door, which is typically about 20 feet away from us, and do something completely different that will change the way we feel and the way we operate on this planet, man.
There's a great saying. There's nothing that you can't walk off, right? You could walk off weight, you could walk off frustration, you could walk off anxiety. Like, you just go for a walk until it's gone. It's that simple.
Yeah. And you think about, like, really, if we were to just reduce this down to the most ridiculous thought of how basic it is. In sales, they teach you reduce it to the ridiculous. So let's do that for that person right now who's sitting there on the couch, stuck on Netflix with no judgment. Like, I'm not judging that person. What I'm trying to do is get them to understand that it's this simple. Stand up, turn towards the door, open it, walk out, and go down to the edge of your driveway and back, and down again and back for as many times as you can without hurting yourself, without passing out, without injuring, you know, because everyone's different, right? Not all of us can go run a Spartan race or do a mud run or something like that. but we can do something that basic. And I love what you just said. You know, we can walk anything off, man. And I'm gonna borrow that from you. So.
No problem. The other thing I was reading this morning, which I had read, you probably read years ago. Well, we're not going to get political here, but if we believe, which I think you and I believe, and I think anybody listening believes, here's what a couple of the gurus and the scientists have said to me, the Olympians, like the number one thing that motivates us as human beings is the avoidance of discomfort. We avoid discomfort at all costs because that's what's kept us alive as a species on the planet. We don't fall off cliffs. We don't get cold in the rain. We don't, freeze to death. So we avoid discomfort. We don't even know we're avoiding discomfort. You wake up in the morning to work out. Your mind is telling you to go check your email. You don't need to check your email at 6 a.m, but it's doing that because it doesn't want you, right, to get uncomfortable. That's why you don't go outside in the rain. So when we look at this whole thing going on in the country, this political thing, there's an argument that was written, 2,500 years ago that said, look, a democracy will only last 200 years, roughly, give or take. Because once people figure out that they could just vote into power the people that are going to give them the most and make their life the easiest and avoid the most discomfort, then it's over.
Woo.
But it makes sense. I'm not getting political, but it makes sense, right?
Well, I've always said that the beauty of our country as a Marine and someone who kind of sees this from a different perspective, I've said this, and even before I really knew what I was saying, and this is also not a political statement, this is just an observation from a guy living on this planet no differently than you or anyone else listening to us. The values and the freedoms that this country was built on will be the exact same thing that tears it down. And, until we become aware of that and aware of the choices that we make and the things that we allow and these freedoms that we've taken for granted so much, unfortunately, we need to be very vigilant on protecting those things by not allowing, I guess, laziness or complacency or entitlement to slip in and get in front of what we should be doing. And, this thought of discomfort, segueing back into that, is something that I've been dealing a lot with lately. And it relates to a specific area of my life. And I was talking to my best friend yesterday, and he said, Clark, I really appreciate you as a man, because as I watch you and as I hear you and what you're going through right now in your life, you are like really inviting this self-observation, and you're really leaning into the areas of your life that are difficult to face and change. And I thought about that yesterday and even this morning when I was doing my treadmill. And I take a lot of pride in that, because if we could all do that, like let's say there's a marriage issue and the husband is got justified resentment against the wife, and the wife has got justified resentment against the husband, and there's this non-reconcilable issue that they have. If we could all just take a look at ourselves and have those difficult conversations, but more than that, make those difficult changes, then this and this will be healed, which will heal that. And it becomes a better proposition. But what we do is we look, and this goes back to what you were saying, we look for something outside of ourselves to be the answer to the problem that we're facing, when really the answer is within us. Like if you're heavy and you want to lose weight, get up and go walk it off.
I don't know if this will make sense to you or not, but I've come up with this saying, you got to live below the line. So the line, visualize a horizontal line on a white board, right? And the line is like where we are. It's comfortable. It's complacent. Above the line is the thing we're chasing all the time. We want to be happier. We want a nicer car. We want this thing, a bigger house. Below the line is uncomfortable. Below the line is going for that long walk, is going on the treadmill like you did this morning. It's having the tough conversations. It's kind of like when you push a soccer ball underwater and it pops back up. And so I would argue, we got to go below the line every day. We got to be a little uncomfortable, because then you appreciate everything at the line. You appreciate where you are. You appreciate your spouse. You appreciate your kid. You don't complain about it anymore because it sucks below the line. You're just happy to be back on the line. Does that make sense?
Well, that's David Goggins 101, right? That's what that guy preaches to every one of us who listens to him. And it's true. And as extreme as he might be in that, and a lot of people might not be able to resonate or connect with that message, it's true, right? Because again, it goes back to this idea of being entitled. I think entitlement is one of the biggest issues that we have. Like, I've even entitled my kids to a certain degree, and I look at some of their actions and behaviors, and it's like, man, I did that, right? Because I didn't push them below that line and make them work, because I've had this idea in my mind of, well, I'm going to make it easier for them because I suffered and this and that and the other thing. Well, you know, our desire to really make people's life easier sometimes makes it harder, because eventually they're going to face those things that they need to go below the line to understand. And, you know, you're right in that. And, you know, something as simple as getting up at 4:30 in the morning and getting on the treadmill is going below that line, because it's not necessarily enjoyable. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I'm a fitness guy. I've made a living off of being in fitness. I don't like to exercise. I don't get up every morning and go, yay, I get to go work out. People trip out when they hear me say that. And I oftentimes compare myself to my peers, my friends, guys that are just beasts and animals. And I'm like, why am I not enjoying this like they are? I suffer through my workouts more than I enjoy my workouts, but I enjoy the result from it. And I enjoy that when I get to that place where I'm coming up to the surface, I'm like, I live in a very highly functional body at 57 years old. So all that suck paid off. Like, here I am, let's go.
So there's no doubt about it that most of us, you know, I've interviewed, I don't know how many Olympic athletes, and I was surprised, just like you said, people are surprised with you. I was surprised when they said, I don't want to get on my bike for 5 hours a day. I don't want to go row my boat for 5 hours. They said, but what we do is we say we're going to do 20 minutes today. 20 minutes turns into an hour turns into 2 hours, and just get it done every day, right? It's that discipline.
Yeah. Discipline is key. And a lot of people they tell themselves they don't have the discipline. Well, that's an absolute lie. It's just discipline has been applied in different areas of their life compared to my life or your life, right? We have chosen to apply discipline into physical things, into mental things, but maybe somebody else has chosen to apply discipline into being a housewife or a CEO or a trash man. Like I took my trash out this morning at 4:45 a.m. because my son didn't do it last night when he was supposed to. And I was thinking to myself, this guy that's going to come here in this truck and pick this up gets up every day. And I'm guessing around 3 a.m. to start this route, to do something that's very important. Because if my trash doesn't go, my house starts to become a mess. So he might tell me later on, well, I don't have the discipline to work out. I'm like, BS, bro. You're a girl, whoever, you have been getting up at 3 a.m. Most people never see 3 a.m. in their life, but you've done it for how many years? Take some of that discipline and apply it somewhere else. You got it. You just need to choose to use it somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm telling everybody, you know, my kids wrestle, and the dads used to wrestle. A lot of the dads used to wrestle, and so they were disciplined at one point. And I see them eating food. I see them not taking care of themselves, and I'm shocked. And so I say to them, treat yourself like an Olympian. By the way, even during the holidays, I was with some businessmen that are billionaires, not taking care of themselves. Treat yourself like an Olympian. The garbage man, treat yourself like an Olympian, right? We all want to earn a gold medal every day. So anyway, I agree with you. What does the average person do? What do you recommend somebody does? It's New Year's, new you, resolutions. They're all going to fail. What are some simple things that you've been doing this forever?
Make sustainable choices. It really comes down to that, because the truth is everybody, you know, collectively speaking, has made a New Year's resolution. But most people have made resolutions that are not sustainable. And all I ask people to do is reflect back on last year. Like, what did you do last year wrong? Fix that. Like, I jumped in with both feet. I bought this program. I convinced myself I was going to do it. I went balls to the wall for 7 days, man. I was the best for 7 days. And then I fizzled out. Okay, well, let's learn from that. And don't do that same thing. What did you do that wasn't sustainable? Well, pretty much everything. Well, let's change those things. What is sustainable? Like, we ask ourselves what wasn't, and then now what is. So when we find out the what is, we just apply that and we do it consistently. And we don't expect to get results right away. We live in this society, and you've heard it said a million times, a microwave society where we expect these results to come right away. But what I ask people to ask themselves is, how long did it take you to gain 60 pounds? You didn't do it in 6 weeks. You did it in 6 years, most likely. It crept up on you. And then before you know it, you look in the mirror, you're like, I'm not that college wrestler. I'm not that baseball, basketball player, or that guy or gal who danced. I'm now a 60-pound heavier version of myself with less confidence, less enthusiasm for life, less energy, less motivation. And you just need to be patient long enough to get where you want to go. Because the beauty is we live in a human body that's the most adaptable organism on the known universe. When you do something to it, like your kids' first day of wrestling practice sucked. I mean, talk about embracing the suck. There's nobody in my mind like a wrestler. A wrestler's mentality is probably, if the world could grab half of a wrestler's mentality, it'd be a different place altogether. You know, it's got to be sustainable, man. That is the key.
So, but you could do it in bite-sized pieces. I was with this billionaire family. The wife used to train like crazy. She lost her way. I said, I'll tell you what, commit to 5 minutes a day of walking. 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's it. That's sustainable, right? I mean, you can do that. And the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. 5 minutes is 1 bite at a time. I said something this morning when I was doing a live for the group of men that I coach. I have men all around the world. It's growing every single day. It's called the Nanotest Performance System for Men Elite Members Group. And I've got these guys, man, and I just feel so honored to be in a position of leadership. But I said something this morning that really made a lot of sense to me as I was teaching my 5 principles to these guys. I said, don't let one thing stop everything. What we do when we're starting an exercise program is, let's say I offer you, hey, I got a 6-week program. It's for free. Come and join me. And you go, well, I twisted my wrist playing volleyball, so I'm going to start when this pain goes away. And I'm like, you're letting one thing stop everything. It makes no sense, because fitness is not about one lane. One lane will not get you where you want to go. You need to adopt lifestyle principles. And I have 5 that I teach: mindset, meals, movement, community, and supplementation, in that order. And when you apply these 5 consistently, mindset being first, meals being second, movement, community, and then supplementation. When you do those consistently together, they end up getting you where you want to go. So if somebody can't do the movement part, they throw the baby out with the bathwater on mindset. Well, my wrist hurts. I can't do your program. Bullshit. Come on, man. People need to wake up and realize that these conditioned thoughts and behaviors are holding us back, man. Yes. Let's go.
Nobody cares. Work harder.
Yeah.
My buddy's a coach at Cornell University, one of the winningest wrestling teams in the country. And Kyle Dake, one of the winningest wrestlers, came back off the mat once and said to the coach, my knee hurts. He said, well, you better go win, because it'll hurt a lot more if you lose. So, like,
it's true. And we are losing that
grit, that resilience, that come on, guys. Like, think about the guys in the Civil War. Think about what they went through in World War II. You're complaining about your wrist hurts?
Yeah, and I see this every day. This is not me just making stuff up. Like, I respond to these emails daily, like, Clark, I appreciate your offer. I'm going to wait and get started then. And I do the whole V8, I like, what? Like, oh my God, dude, seriously? And then I'm repeating these things over and over again to people. And I appreciate that. I'm so grateful for the position that I'm in, but it just makes me, it frustrates me to no end, because like you, I got this desire. I want to help change, man.
You and I have the same mission. We want to change the world, right? We want to get people healthy. The reality is we're going uphill. We're carrying boulders uphill because again, everybody's trying to avoid discomfort. Life's getting easier and easier. The mindset you're describing is prevalent everywhere. What do we do? What do you do?
It's like being an alcoholic, right? You admit it. Like, look, I've got a mindset issue. I've convinced myself that I cannot do anything. Okay, now we know this. And then now you commit to something. A mentor of mine years ago, a man by the name of Ed Cole, I was in this group with a bunch of men, and he told us this, and it stuck with me forever. He said, you're only committed to what you confess. So tell somebody you're going to do something. Like, go out there and commit. Like when I started competing in bodybuilding, I was scared to death to go walk on a stage in a Speedo in front of, however many people. Like it was embarrassing. It was weird. But I knew I wanted to do it. I knew I was good. I knew I could do it. I mean, the first time I went on a mat to wrestle someone, I was scared, right? The first time I played basketball, the first time I did any of this, I just did it because I committed to it. I told people, like, I'm going to go and do this. Now people are expecting me on a certain day to go do something. And with that, right, like that should affect your pride. Like if I back down, man, now I'm like just whittling away at what makes me a man, right?
I'll tell you a funny story. Yeah. You and I not having practiced this, for the last 20 years, 17 years, I've been putting on a race called the Death Race, arguably one of the world's toughest events. It's on our farm in Vermont. And everything that can go wrong does go wrong. It's my rules. I change the rules. It's basically life over 72 hours. And most people quit. 95% of the people come there. They're tough. They're military. They quit. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I decided, you know what I'm going to do? Because it's a waste of my time if they quit, just like it's a waste of your time if they quit your program. I said, what I'm going to do is they have to get an announcement in a local newspaper that they are doing the event. They got to confess, to your point. They got to announce it to friends. And as soon as they did that, people started finishing this thing because their reputation was on the line. So what I like to say is, if you don't have a date on the calendar, if you haven't announced it, like, you're not going to do the work.
I love that you made people put it in the paper because it does something, right? You're going to sit there when you're getting ready to hit send and go, okay, am I ready to do this? Am I really going to commit to doing it? And that's just proof that it's really a decision. That's all it is. It's like a choice that you've made, that you've committed to because of the confession in front of the people that you respect and respect you. Now there's something on the line. When you're quiet, when you're hiding away, when you're not letting anyone know, there's nothing on the line but your own, like, damn it, I did it again. Man, when am I going to stop doing this? You automatically ask yourself that question. When am I going to stop doing this? Man, I just need to, oh man. So look, some people might not be able to like connect with us on our level because we're pretty aggressive guys, right? And I get that. Like we come in hot. But I'm saying, like, cut what we're saying in half and just be honest with yourself right now and listen. When you don't do something, do you ask yourself, why didn't I do that?
We'll be right back to this interview, but I want to talk to you a little bit about Gone Rogue chips. These are not your ordinary chips. They have less than 2 carbs per ounce. They're made for people like you. They're made from real, fresh chicken, never from frozen, and it's baked to a crunch and seasoned with spices. They have flavors like chicken bacon, barbecue chicken, buffalo-style chicken, teriyaki chicken, and the flavors don't come from bottled smoke flavor. The chicken is smoked in a smokehouse with a blend of hickory hardwoods for an authentic smoky taste. So the Gone Rogue chips, they're light, they're fast, they're great for before or after your workout. They're easy, they're super portable. It's an easy way to get your fix with a crunch of a chip and the protein of a jerky. Visit Amazon or GoneRogueSnacks.com and use the promo code Spartan25 to get 25% off.
But I'm saying, like, cut what we're saying in half and just be honest with yourself right now and listen. When you don't do something, do you ask yourself, why didn't I do that? Why did I back out again? And if you say, yes, Clark, that's what I do, then ask yourself, well, what can I do differently to not do that anymore? It's really just a conversation, and a solution.
It's a tough conversation for people to have, though. They got to look in the mirror.
Well, and that goes back to what my buddy was saying about me. He goes, Clark, I appreciate that you are equipped, right, to have these conversations with yourself. So I had to ask myself, what did I do to equip myself? Well, I got out of my own headspace. I realized, look, I'm not perfect. And if I want something to be better, let's take my marriage, for example. And that's what I was talking about specifically. I'm not hiding anything. I've been married to the same woman for 32 years. That shit gets hard after a while. They're not as beautiful as they were on day one because we make them ugly in our mind with these conversations we have and we justify resentment. I'm like, if I want to stay married to this woman, which I do, I need to fix my crap. I can't fix someone by doing this. And then one day I realized that. I'm like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm so stupid. And when I realized how dumb I was, then I got smart. Then I got smart and I hired somebody to tell me, listen, bro, nope. Wouldn't hear all of my crap. nope, you're making excuses. And I'm like, this guy's right. Damn it. You know, and there were times when I wanted to hang up on him, tell him he was wrong. But when I took a breath and took a step back, I'm like, you know what? Damn it, he's right. I hired him for a reason. He's right. And it's paying off. It's paying off.
So the other thing everybody should be hearing here, and you don't have to pay for a coach, you don't have the money or whatever, you make sure you're surrounded by people that play at a high level.
I had a guy yesterday, wrestler, college wrestler, doctor, accomplished guy. We're on the phone. And he said, will you be my mentor? When somebody asks you that question, man, I was like, wow, I felt so good. And I knew like this wasn't a guy that I needed to charge money for, because I know this guy, I know that everything that I suggest him to do, he's going to do it. Because he's got that mentality, right? He's got that like, I'm going to do it with a sore knee, sore elbow, sore wrist, sore whatever. I'm going to make it through. And I said, absolutely. And I felt so honored. So there are people in your circle of influence who will say yes to the question of, will you mentor me? Will you coach me? I don't have any money, but coach, I'll do everything you ask me to do. There's nothing better when I'm looking at an athlete. I coach football. And I'm looking at this kid and I say, do you understand? Yes, coach. And they run away. Compared to the other 15 guys that are fucking, like this. And I'm like, I don't know if they get it or not. And then they go get blasted. I'm like, well, they didn't get it because they wouldn't have been there if they did,
Let's do some rapid fire stuff. Let's, I tell people work out in the morning. A lot of people come back to me and say, I'm not a morning person. What are your thoughts on that?
Become one. Time is the only thing that we cannot change. We got 168 hours in a week. Everyone says, I don't have enough time. Yes, you do. It's in the morning. Get up a little bit earlier. Rumi has a quote, the morning breeze has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep.
I like it. All right. So I'm up in the morning. You convinced me. What am I doing? What workout am I doing? I don't have the equipment. I don't have the money. I don't have a trainer. What am I doing?
Walk it off.
That's it. Just go for a walk. What am I eating and when am I eating?
You're eating when you're hungry. You're not eating too much of anything. But the first thing you're going to do is write everything down that you currently eat. Because when you become aware of what you're eating, you'll know what to change.
I like that. People should journal and keep track of what, like you said earlier, what works, what doesn't, what are you eating, what are you not eating?
When you write down, like there are studies done at Harvard, when you write down what you're eating, you will increase your results. I think it's by 50%. Because we don't know that we're just meditating like eating chips. It becomes a cadence.
I like that. What am I drinking?
Water, half your body weight in ounces or a gallon a day. And yes, you'll be peeing more, but that is totally fine. And no, you won't retain water, ladies. That's what they think. You're going to actually get rid of water in your system. When you don't drink enough water, that is when your body retains it because it thinks, I ain't getting any water.
I'm actually arguing with my son right now over that. He's got weigh-ins in 2 days, and he's a little overweight, and he's reluctant to drink water, and I'm yelling at him. You got to drink water.
I was drinking 3 gallons a day. And I was leaner than I've ever been. I just did this 30-day blitz. Talk about a mind F. My buddy, Mike O'Hearn, said, hey, we're going in. And 4 just badasses. Every morning we're texting each other. And it's like, I'm doing my morning cardio. Okay. And then we got to the point where we had to drink 3 gallons a day. And I was finishing 3 gallons before 6 p.m. I lifted up my shirt. I'm like, I'm shredded. My wife's like, how are you so ripped? We're drinking that much water. I'm like, that's what your body does. And that's what we do in bodybuilding, right? When we want to dry out, we drink a ton of water. And then the last day, we start cutting it back a little bit. But your body is opposite oftentimes of what we think it is.
What time are we going to bed?
Early, man. Like, I think people have this badge of honor. Like, I stayed up till 10. My wife is right now currently, funny thing, yesterday, it was 4:45. I was done with everything I needed to do. I'm like, I looked at my wife. I'm like, it's almost bedtime. She laughed because I go to bed earlier and earlier every night. Like I am in bed by 7 sometimes. It's like, why would I just stay up till 10? Because it's like, what? If you're tired, go to sleep, you know? And there's nothing wrong with going to bed early and waking up early. Like reset your circadian rhythm to shift it a little bit, a way to gain more time in the morning that's going to multiply your productivity in all of what you said you can't do.
Should we be taking cold showers?
Cold showers are great. They suck, but they're great, right? Like I'm not going to go off and be a Wim Hof or anything. I'm certainly, you're not going to find me in my underwear in Mount Everest, but I'm going to get in a cold shower and suffer through that. Matter of fact, I was from the wrestling coach. I was trying to get the tub that is there at the school that nobody's using. And he said, yeah, Clark, you can have it. And then he asked another coach, he asked the athletic director, and he said, no, we're going to keep it just in case. So I'll probably go jump in my pool today just to,
I do the cold showers every day. Well, it's funny. It's a shame that there's so few people with this mindset. This is the exact mindset. That's the exact list of things. Plant-based, meat. What are we thinking on food?
I've done them all. Both my kids are vegan. I did plant-based for like 12 weeks. I did vegan for about 12 weeks. I've done paleo. I've done them all. What works for me is being instinctive. Like whatever I feel my body needs. Like if I get this craving for a steak, I'm not going to overthink it. I'm going to say, well, my body knows that I need whatever is in that steak that I'm not currently getting. So I'm going to go eat it. If I feel like I need to eat salads for 4 days, and I've been on these binges where I've just had salad. I'm like, there's a reason my body is like wanting this salad. I'm not going to try and outthink my body that's designed to be so freaking awesome. I'm not smart enough. I can't stand it when these experts come along and say, no, you need to do this. We know this. You don't know. You don't know. You know what I mean? You're not that smart that you've outthought God or the creator of this body. You're not. I mean, I get your intelligence. I get all your studying, but come on, man, get over yourself. Like, we're
on the same page. I wish you and I need to start a university. It's probably 50 of us that just have this. It's so simple, by the way. It's so simple.
Yeah. It's amazing, man. And I love that this was first thing this morning, like at 6:30 a.m. I'm like, I've never done a podcast at 6:30 a.m. Like last night I did one was at 6 p.m. I'm like, what's this guy waiting on? Let's go, man. Come on. I'm going to be sleeping in an hour. And then this morning I got up, I did my stuff, and I was telling my guys on the live, I'm like, I get to go do a podcast at 6:30. I'm already like coming in hot on this thing. I'm warmed up and ready to go. And that's the way we should go to work, right? So talk about the morning and the benefits. So let's say you've got a 9 to 5 and you're going there to perform. If you're just barely getting out of bed, just barely making it to work, and then you're hitting your desk, you owe it to your boss. Your first 4 hours is going to suck because you're still waking up. But if you're already awake, you took a cold shower, you ate, you stretched, you did your affirmations, you journaled. Now you're coming into work like, yeah. People are going to be like, yo, Tony, what happened to you? And be like, I got up earlier. You know what I mean? I did some shit already. Now your boss is getting like 8 real hours out of you, not 4 ones and then 4 decent ones.
Oh man, if it was up to me, if I was vice president, you were president, I would whisper in your ear and say, listen, we're going to shut all the hot water heaters off. We're mandating everybody get up at 5 a.m. and work out, right? They got to be in bed by 7 p.m. We can't sell any drinks except water, no alcohol. People can only drink, it would be unbelievable. Think about how you want to make this country great again. The country would be unbelievable.
It'd be unreal. I love it because next to me, there are tree trimmers. There's a bunch of tree trimming trucks next to me. And I get up and I go down to my buddy's liquor store. I grab a water. We sit there and we talk, and all the people come in, and I observe, right? People buying like pints in the morning. And I know they're going to work. I'm like, oh, fuck, really? This guy's going to work with a pint. He ain't saving that for after work. But anyway, on the way down there, these tree trimmers, they're in a big circle. It reminded me of when I went to China or Japan. The workers would get up in the morning and they would do exercises, simple stretches and things like this. And I see these tree trimmers who are badass men, right? The redneck kind of like tough guys. And they're out there, their boss knows well enough to stretch them out before they go climbing these trees with these power tools that could kill them. You know, they're preparing them for what they're going to go do. Like if we all prepared in that way for what we're going to go do, I created an app years ago before the morning stuff was like in. It was called The First 10. My son was playing college football. And a lot of it was patterned after conversations he and I had because him and his coach didn't get along. And it was just a bad scene. He was way away from home, but he was a great quarterback, like a great athlete. And I started this thing, The First 10. So it was meant to wake you up 10 minutes early. It would wake you up. You just plug it in. And the night before, you chose the 10 minutes of affirmations and like words that were pertaining to what you were going to be facing that day. So one of them was an athletic event. And I walked them through this process, like, you know, and you're walking into the locker room and this, and it was like, when I listen back to it now, I'm like, this stuff is amazing. I need to relaunch this app again. I wrote a book called Magical Mornings. It came from a conversation. I was up in the morning and I heard my phone and I checked it, and it was my buddy saying, dude, aren't mornings magical? And I'm like, that's the title of my book, you know? And I wrote it. I just got up and wrote it. And all of my good stuff like comes in the morning. When it's quiet, I'm by myself, I hear stuff, right? I hear it. And it hits me in here. And I'm like, oh, that's a thing. That's a thing, you know? And then I just go do it.
Well, you embody exactly what Spartan is. I'd love to get you out to some events. I want you to be part of the program. Thanks for doing this. You were awesome.
I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much, man. I got my day started right. Let's go attack today. Let's go affect change in people's lives. Let's not apologize for who we are. Let's just be that. And if people can't handle it, oh well, maybe the next time they come around us, they'll get it. You know what I mean? But let's just go, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Spartan Up Podcast. Spartan Up is your partner in resilience for mind, body, and spirit. We're here 3 days every week. Tuesdays, you can find Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan, interviewing biohackers, business leaders, authors, and athletes. Thursdays and Saturdays, catch episodes from our DECA, Endurance, Trail, Combat, and La Ruta series. Do you know someone who needs a little nudge? Maybe they could use some motivation, tactics to be stronger, healthier, happier, more successful. Tell them about our show. And if you're watching on YouTube, leave us a comment. We want to know who's watching and who's listening. Thanks. See you next time.